Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today we're back with AI solutions expert David Criss. Hey, David, welcome back.
Hello, and I'm super stoked to be back.
We're super happy to have you back, David. And today I want to talk all about AI in the creativity of writing with you. So, David, how can ChatGPT be tailored to help with specific writing styles and genres?
So when it comes to tailoring ChatGPT for these kinds of specific use cases, right? Like we spoke on the last episode about getting that subscription. What that subscription gives you access to is something called custom GPTs, right? So it gets a tiny bit complicated. It's pretty self-explanatory, but this is where you can make your own version of a GPT that's completely tailored to your needs, right? So what you would do from there is, I'm sure you already have some kind of plot outline, the setting, maybe a few basic character backgrounds. You can start uploading all of this into your custom GPT and simply tell it what you want it to do. Hey, you are my most amazing writing assistant in the world. You already know my writing style and what I like. I've uploaded in your knowledge, and I'm looking for you to assist me on X, Y, and Z. And then you just start interacting with it, interacting with it. And it codes itself as you interact with it. That's the crazy thing. So even if there's something that it gets wrong, you're like, hey, you know what? Don't ever do that again. It logs it and it changes itself so that it never ever does that again or does something more that you liked.
Right. Well, that's fascinating and it's so helpful. Now, what would you say are the best ways to use AI for brainstorming story ideas, world building, and character arcs?
Beautiful. So based on story building, right? World building, character arcs, kind of like we spoke about earlier. Again, when you're in that custom GPT, you would simply ask it, hey, so I've got my plot uploaded, I've got this uploaded, and it has access to all of it. And I'm thinking about a betrayal plot twist, right? How do you think that would go about given my writing style? And then it would just start just populate. And now, of course, this is not you writing the book or it writing the book for you. This just helps you rapidly brainstorm, right? This is why, like in the past episode where I mentioned I've used this to help me combat like writer's block, is because writer's block is just feels like the absence of ideas. And when you've got something throwing ideas at you, you can start your engine back up really, really quickly, right? Even come up with things that it didn't even throw on the board, right? But it got it all drumming. It got it all drumming. So that would all come from you building out your own custom GPT and simply just uploading all of your work straight into it and then interacting it like a live assistant.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, really, and it takes what people are, looking for and asking what other authors, have done, and that's great idea generation to just keep the ball rolling when you are, like you said, writing or you've got writer's block and all the above. Now, I want to know, how does AI help improve things like word choice, flow, and just the overall narrative structure to get a little more technical?
I love that. So there have been times when it comes to word choice, narrative flow, and like structure and what you're speaking of, where I've uploaded a whole entire chapter and just been like, hey, are there redundancies here? Right? Am I repeating myself too much? Is there an idea that is mentioned more than three times, more than two times, more than one time, up to your preference? Right? And it'll tell you in full format and also even broken down fully about like, hey, here's this, here's this, here's this. And it'll even give you suggestions as to how you could word it differently, right? Now, you don't have to use that, but again, it gets that ball rolling. And it also helps you catch things that, I mean, us as writers, we may not catch ourselves. You know, we tend to repeat ourselves in speech. I unfortunately am I'm the kind of writer that writes like I talk. So when I write like I talk, I don't realize like, oops, I already said that way, exactly like that, not only a chapter ago, or even then, God forbid, not only a paragraph ago.
Because really it can be used as an editor to do certain things like, hey, you said good too much in here, nobody likes the word good, or you said fantastic 100 times, let's switch it up a little bit, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That authors pay a lot of money for, especially if they're on a budget, because struggling authors, a lot of them are on budgets, so it could be very helpful. Now, how can AI assist in translating books while maintaining tone and style of the author?
I love that. So when it comes to ChatGPT and a lot of these language models, that's kind of the cool thing is they're built off of languages, right? So
Right.
even maybe your viewers have heard of ElevenLabs. I'm sure at some point in the future we'll get into what production looks like for these things. But these things are multilingual, right? Multilingual. You can use them to translate any language you want. I've even used them to give me the original Coney Greek, right, for the Bible, right, and fully help me translate the Bible. So you can take any of your excerpts that you have. And of course, you always want to test first, but grab an excerpt from a chapter, and then just start actually running it through translations, through Spanish, through French, through Mandarin. You can do that too. And then just back translate it, right? And see
Right.
if that makes sense, if everything makes sense and that's still the tone that you would like. But absolutely, this thing can absolutely translate into whatever you want it to be.
That's fantastic. Now, how, if I'm an author that's trying to kind of just generate multiple character backstories and plot outlines, how could I use AI to do that part of the idea generation?
I love that. I've actually practiced this myself, right? I've given a full plot, of how I want the story to go. Funny enough, it was like Edo, Japan, but if Atlantis had never been destroyed, and now, you have Atlantean technology inside of the time of like samurais and samurai detectives, like super duper weird stuff. And I gave it maybe a few characters that I had in mind of what I wanted the protagonist to be like and how I wanted him to have a best friend and someone else in his circle that may betray him. And I just had it, could you give me a whole bunch of ideas for characters, character names, and character backgrounds that have to do with the plot and the setting that I've already uploaded in your knowledge base? And just, and I
Wow.
went through it, picked and chose to my liking, right? And I was like, hey, actually, with this character, could they actually have been one of the samurais in the police force? And then that's how they met? Absolutely. And it would make that change, give me a few ideas there until I landed on something, right? So you can make this do anything it is. Sky's the limit. Imagination is the only thing stopping you. So if you can imagine it, it can do it. And when it comes to character arcs, character development, and character relations, it can absolutely give you thousands and thousands, if not an infinite number of ideas when it comes to those things.
It's really incredible. Now, I want to close with kind of just touching or scratching the surface on how AI can assist in audiobook production.
Ah, yes. So we were kind of alluding to this a little bit, right? So one of the most amazing use cases I've actually, at least the one that gets me the most excited is, production teams are expensive, right? Voice actors, that is expensive, let alone, let's forget formatting and proofreading. Full production is always going to cost actual, real, hard earned dollars to turn this something into a multi-sensual, right? Experience. So this is where things like ElevenLabs comes into play, right? And ElevenLabs can not only generate a wide array of different voices that you can use, it can even take your voice or any voices that you choose outside, so long as you have a 2-minute recording, right? And you can build out a whole entire book, chapter by chapter, is what I would suggest. Don't try to do the whole book all at once, right? But chapter by chapter, give every single character a voice, have a narrator's voice, so all of that can be separated instead of just one person reading through the book, right? Which is what people are most used to. You can even have this thing generate sound effects. So you don't even have to go to like some stock sound effect website, pay for like a library of stock sound effects. You can just go into ElevenLabs, into their project section, and when you get your project started, you can develop as many voices and as many sound effects as your heart desires. Well, for as many tokens that you have whenever you subscribe, right? But I'm sure your viewers can email me about that and I can walk them down the process even more.
Well, David, thank you so, so much. That was wonderful insight on AI and the creativity of writing.
Thank you so much for having me, and I literally cannot wait to be back.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with AI solutions expert David Criss. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.